Now, one of the important things to consider whenever you're going to be taking education from any instructor or any institution is to think about what their bias is for why they're teaching you this particular technology or this particular concept and where they're trying to get you to at the end of the day. So with the other series that we've done with Python and the Bottle Web App Framework up until this point, I've talked about that, right? So the reason that we teach Python at Silicon Dojo is it is just the duct tape of the modern world, right? If you want to create a web app, you can do it with Python. If you just want to be able to parse data from a database, you can do it with Python. If you want to create robots and AI projects and all that kind of stuff, you can do it with Python. So other languages out there are great and do certain things better, right? There's a reason for C#, there's a reason for Node.js, but again, I only have so many hours in the day, we can only teach you so much, so we focus on Python just because it is, I think, the best kind of just generic programming language that we currently have. Again, the Bottle Web App Framework. I get a lot of snarky people about why we taught the Bottle Web App Framework as the first web app framework in our series of different classes. And the reason is because, again, it is just a dirt simple web app framework. If you go to learn Django, ooh, I like Django. Don't get me wrong, I adore Django. I'm a Django fanboy. But there's a lot to Django. There is so much to Django, right? And so the reason that we teach Bottle initially instead of Django is to explain to you how templates work, how static files work, how route, post, and get, and all that kind of stuff works. And we teach you that within a very simple functional framework, so that when we go and teach you other frameworks in the future, you have those basic concepts, and hopefully Django is a little bit simpler for you to learn than it was for me, right? That's why we teach it. Again, when we start coming here and we start talking about SQLite, what is our bias here? Why are we teaching it to you as the first database engine that you're going to learn? Is because there's no administrative overhead. Literally, if you have Python 3 installed, you can literally go to your command line right now, type in SQLite3, and you're in the SQLite 3 command prompt, or the SQLite 3 shell. If you know what to do with it, great. If not, that's why we're here to teach you, right? That is all you have to do. You don't have to set up accounts and privileges. You don't have to worry about ports, any of that kind of stuff. So that's why we are teaching you SQLite in these first steps, because this is going to teach you SQL, right? And it's also going to teach you a database engine that might be very useful for you in certain projects, but allows us to teach those basic concepts before we start going into anything deeper. Again, as far as SQLite is concerned, it's a hard database engine to really hate. Again, the number one most installed in the world. It's used in just a tremendous number of projects. The big thing for you is once you get done with this series of classes is asking yourself, is it really appropriate for the project that you're doing? If you're taking temperature values, and you simply need to, get averages of temperature values over a couple of days, SQLite is a great thing. If you're taking people's social security numbers and personally identifiable information, please don't use SQLite. SQLite, you can literally copy and paste the entire database and have it accessible. Like a hacker could literally just walk up to your server, copy the database off, go home, open the database. No encryption, no security. Like, they don't have to crack anything. They just literally open it up, grab their cup of coffee, and see what your data looks like. So anyways, that's just something to be thinking about with the bias for why we use SQLite here. Again, I don't see how you can be snarky with this particular product, but anyways, people can be snarky about anything.